we are not saying that in-laws now have the right to fully interfere. But it's good you have the communication and you understand, okay, what are we supposed to give? At what point in time do we need to give? And what do we need to contribute to? What do we have that we can give? Are we just giving because we want to show up and make everybody in the family? We are the my whole family is the richest of all the other families. This culture thing. Like you want to showcase, you want to, it's not really about that.
Hi, friends. My name is Sola Adesakin. I'm the lead coach and founder of Smart Stewards. I'm the host of Safe Money Conversations, Safe standing for Sola Adesakin and Friends Experiences. What we like to do here is, share our experiences from the practical point of view about finances, about business, about, just life generally. Today, I have these amazing ladies with me. Interestingly, they've been in the studio with me in the past. We had such an amazing time, and I know today is not going to be any different. With me on my immediate right is Toyin Ifesoya. Toyin is a cybersecurity and sales expert. She's an operator in the digital media space, doing great things, and she's a motivational speaker. Adetokunbo Amosu is a serial fashionpreneur. That's what I like to call her. She connects you with amazing fashion deals on wholesale and retail levels, and she teaches about fashion marketing. Ladies, welcome to the studio once again.
Thank you.
All right, I remember the last session, the last episode where you were at the studio. We were discussing things that had to do with family finances, and we had a really great time. I would like to take it a notch higher. I've realized that talking to women nowadays, a lot of more women are becoming breadwinners in families. I tell you, 3 out of 5 women I talk to, would tell me about how they are the ones, calling the shots, so to say, and winning the bread, basically, in their families. Some have stories of how their spouses have just hit a rough patch, they're pulling their weight, and some have totally, in quotes, irresponsible spouses who even take advantage of them and abuse them emotionally and otherwise. I remember my parents' experiences. At some point in time, my father wasn't really working. My mother was the one, doing all the. But life smiled on my dad. Got back, and so I have an idea of what it means for a woman, to be doing the breadwinning. Tony, what do you have to say? You know.
Okay, so about being the breadwinner of the home. Well, I practically just tell people, women, to try as much as possible to secure the home front. There have been several discussions on the issues that are being faced by women at the moment in this generation. And we will not deny the fact that some of these things have actually been in existence before now. Our parents, our mothers have actually suffered a lot of these issues. So we are, in a way, informed about it. But unfortunately, some of us still find ourselves in such situation where we seem to cater for the house, take care of virtually everything, and the man is being relaxed or watching football, the latest football, game and all that. So I said this because we are very sentiment, because we are very emotional. We are at the receiving side. We get to react to everything. We feel the pains of our children, and also we cannot watch our husbands suffer. So this actually comes in different grades, different aspect, different people with their different situation that they are currently going through. But I practically just tell ladies, tell women that you should try as much as possible to ensure that you have financial intelligence, such that you are aware of several ways of managing your funds, and of course replicating it, so getting interest and all that, such that you can actually help your home. And just take care of the basic things. I won't say you shouldn't take care of your husband, but take care of the basic things so that you can as well secure the future of your children, which is very key for us.
And your own future.
And your own, you want to have sanity. You don't want to go into depression. If you want to keep talking around telling everybody your issues, as long as there is no domestic violence, that is a no. But if it's something that can still be um walked around, I'm not going to say managed. I don't enjoy using that word manage, because nobody should be in a situation that you say you practically patching, but just ensure that you are able to cater for the home front. That's what I would
Awesome. So,
say.
Kumba, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this topic.
Okay, so I feel that it's not the time when such a thing happens, it's not the time to throw pity parties. Like I keep hammering on the word being responsible. You decide on the things that are need to haves, that are for survival. So I've seen instances on the group where we've had conversations that even a good man that is out of job does not like it. And so they can even a man can change, not because he wants to change, but because he is not in that level of providing that makes his ego okay. And so if you have to do a few things, so it may not be the time to travel to tell haters that nothing is doing us. Hmm? So as in travel at that time, no matter how much of a want it is not a need. So I'd advise the woman to step up. I'd advise her to secure her future, but more importantly, to realize the situation for what it is. And like we say, seasons also change, yeah? And if you keep at something, the tendency that you would reap your rewards. But while at it, don't be the one with the last. You can't be the last person you're thinking about. You have to be the first person you're thinking about, while ensuring that, okay, you cover those tracks.
Awesome. So secure your future and just make sure that you are multiplying your funds, multiplying your money. You're not just making money and then you're spending it. And, good points. Thank you, ladies. And that takes me to the next point, talking about securing the future. A few years ago, I remember my father, listening to one of my video programs online where I was talking about the fact that, there's a proverb in the Bible that says, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. And that, as it's okay to take care of our parents, but really our children should not be our retirement plan. And he went on and on. I know there's a cultural aspect of, in this part of the world where parents would brag that I have sent my children to school, I am spending a lot of money on them, they will take care of me in the future. I like to tell people that I like to be a kind of grandma that my children and my grandchildren would love to visit because when they come around, they know they're going with a gift, maybe a car, a house, or some, heavy amount of money. Okay. If that is my mentality, then I need to secure my future and work things out in a way that I am also preparing for the future. As much as we are spending money on our children, we also know that, what, these children grow up, they have their responsibilities, they have their lives to live as well. So I take care of them. If they do for me, it's a plus. But I have to do for myself. So Toyin, talking about you planning for your future and not necessarily waiting to rely on your children to take care of you. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, gonna those days that you'll be expecting your children um to how will I put it, feed you, take care of you when you're old and gray. Good enough. Now you can even relate to so many parents who apparently give their children assistance in one way or the other. It's not like the children are. It's not the other way around. Yes, the children are also comfortable. Let's look at cite an example, Otedola, who actually assisted the daughter with 5 billion. Yeah. I like that. So he has invested. He has worked for him to get to where he is now. So we should also be in look at it. There's really no aging time. Like seriously, yes, you're going to get old, but depending on how you've been able to take care of yourself, you'll be healthy, and you'll be fit to also be able to relate to the current trend at your old age. That is why we can say the same $100. I'm sure is within 60 or 50 something that they're about. He may have not retired, but he still is turning towards his old age, and is you can relate to it. So what we are saying is get the financial intelligence, try as much as possible to multiply your funds, try as much, just have the mindset that all you're doing, the seeds you're sowing would germinate one day. Just keep doing at try gather the right information as to what would make you financially stable. So it's easier for your grandchildren to come to you even at your old age, and you can relate to them, and they come to you, they say they want to give you something, you can also give them something in return. So it's not like you'll be old, you will be looking forward. You cannot eat until they give you the money. You cannot eat until they give you allowance of the monthly allowance. You're not dependent on your children or grandchildren, and this is the right time for you to sow and invest in that future you wish to attain. Thank you.
Interestingly, financial literacy has become something that a lot of people are embracing. Technology has made a lot of difference for us. I think our generation is blessed.
Yeah.
Well, you can't blame parents who would say, oh, my children are my retirement benefits, because if they had as much exposure, as much access to some of the things that we now know, they probably would have done better. So well, give it to them. We are grateful to our parents for their support, for their sacrifices. But I believe that our generation knows better and should do better. Since we have been talking about children, let's talk about children within the context of marriage and our financial investments in them, even in the current, in reality as is, not even in the future. We all know that, when you get married, things change. Your finances is not just about yourself. You have responsibilities. And when children come into the picture, there are a lot more things. I remember when I was single, yeah, I was just, enjoying life, balling. And I for initially, I wasn't looking at the future like, okay, so what am I planning? I just thought life was to be lived and all of that. But I realized, don't get married, that it's not just about, you have to be strategic. Once you start having children, your life changes forever. Even when they grow old, I mean, and they get married, you're emotionally, sometimes financially invested all your life. So the dynamics of children in marriage, for especially our listeners who are young in marriage, some who haven't even gotten married, what are some of the things to bear in mind? What are some of the things to expect and to prepare and plan for, Tokumbo?
Okay. I'd like to approach that question from this angle. The way we talk about emergency funds, how about we also know? So while there are no fixed rules, while we know that, okay, you really can't plan until the children come, you really can't wait. And so I have this rule of thumb, especially as with people who splurge on weddings. After the wedding, especially if you don't have any other strategic plan, 9 months can go and do something, right? So it means that why I can say to myself that, okay, instead of the normal emergency funds, by the time I pull like 3 months of my annual together, I'm safe. I could up it and say that I may even like twins and say, why don't I triple these emergency funds? Now, what that does for me is that while it's not like there's money floating around, it means that I may have been able to dam the wealth a bit to be able to build something, because I remember wanting to leave work. I did not want to feel sick and sorry, like all those people who feel sick and sorry for themselves. And I was leaving work. I knew I wouldn't be earning. And so I set up a certain fund. I wasn't disinformed, but I worked in a stockbroking firm. And so I said, can I afford something that looks like what we now know as mutual funds that pays me back a little something that, maybe covers my hair, covers maybe like on the 12th. And so I'll be doing my hair. I'll just hair tum. You get, why can't I do that and say, okay, imagine that it is one child. Imagine that I fall pregnant on my wedding night. They're just things. And when you are better prepared to handle a situation, you actually thrive better. You don't wait for life to happen to you, because trust me, life will happen.
Interesting. So children change the dynamics. So
Yes,
do you agree with that?
Yes, children does change the dynamics because um, a lot of time people are not prepared to. They don't see the reality of the children when they accept until they come in, and they tend to get a better reality as to the bills that will cost, the school fees and a few other things. So like she said earlier, just try as much as possible to have like a saving culture for the children. You have mutual benefits. You have a lot of different child accounts now that are currently being advertised by most of the banks. Look at the package that you can secure for your unborn child or for your children, and in turn you would thank yourself when those bills comes playing.
Because they will come.
Yes,
It's
definitely.
amazing because about a year ago, I read like a survey that said that in America, I can't remember the exact figure, that between 0 and so years, you spend over $200,000 on a child. So we spend those money in trickles, and like today you buy. By the end of the day, it would amaze you that between 0 and when a child is 15, you have spent well over 100 billion. Do you know it happens like that? So it's interesting for our audience. I think that it's important that you factor in children. Like you said, myself and my husband, we didn't plan that the children weren't going to, come immediately. So it was just like, okay, so we are going into this. So 2 months after wedding, I got pregnant and I just resigned my job. I'm talking about experiences. No plans, nothing, no savings. I just went blindly into it. And then you now bring the child into the dynamics of, so I think that single ladies need to, really prepare themselves, not just ladies, guys. Talk together before marriage. What are we doing? How many children are we having? Gone are these days where you have a dozen children, I mean, the dynamics are different. Do what works for you, but please, have adequate plans in place to take care of your children. Let's look at another interesting, thing that happens when it comes to marriage. And Tony, this question is directed at you. In-laws interferences in family finances. They have different dynamics. Let me paint these two scenarios and then we can talk about it. The first scenario is a wife complaining to you that my husband is always meeting the needs of his immediate family members before he meets, not his immediate, his extended family members before meeting the needs of his own nuclear family. And it's always an issue of, I remember somebody telling me that, this guy would, spend money on his siblings, and meanwhile, we have needs at home. That's on one hand. On another hand, how about when you have in-laws, when they know that you have stuff, they're always all around you, and then, they're always instigating you, you again, or pitching you against your husband, pitching your husband against you, that you are the one hindering their brother from taking care of them. So two different scenarios. What do you think?
Okay, I'm going to start this way. First of all, if you are an independent woman, you know, there are a lot of issues that may not really be an issue for you, majorly because you don't look up to your man, your husband, even before you can actually get something for yourself. So sometimes when there are some uncontrollable situation, they in a way may not shake you. We talked about communication, which is very key in the home, very, very key. But not every marriages are opportune to have that sound communication about the in-laws and all that. Before I got married, one of my a friend of mine actually scared me, and she said, "Blood is thicker than water." Because you are married to your husband does not mean it's going to. And I'm like, no, my husband is my husband, you know. But when I got married, yes, he's my husband. But the truth of the matter is, we cannot be selfish. As much as we know we have a foundation, he has a foundation. They didn't just drop from the sky.
Ready
He
for you
had
to
some
marry.
things that the parents, the siblings have actually also invested during his time while he was growing up. Those things you may not obviously be in the know. And we are not saying that in-laws now have the right to fully interfere. But it's good you have the communication and you understand, okay, what are we supposed to give? At what point in time do we need to give? And what do we need to contribute to? What do we have that we can give? Are we just giving because we want to show up and make everybody in the family? We are the my whole family is the richest of all the other families. This culture thing. Like you want to showcase, you want to, it's not really about that. You need to be very real to yourself and understand that there's an essence of you giving. And if you can peg it, I cite there's an example that I actually cited earlier before somewhere, where I talked about the we actually talked about an in-law of mine who apparently has an understanding with his wife. So at at the payday, his salary is known to his wife, and they already have a portion that will be given to that is tagged family. They have a portion tagged friends. So there's nothing you bring to the table. Nothing. Maybe if somebody is dying, okay. But for there's nothing as far as I have, as long as I've known them for a long time, but that I appreciate. But I can't do that with my husband because the kind of man he is very caring. So, but I need to understand and help him manage that his care. Channel it
To
well,
manage
so that
his
it will
care.
not. Yes, you have to, so that you don't have because most of them don't see the reality of they don't see the future. They don't see reason why you need to plan ahead of time and of it. Yes, so most even the learned men, they are informed, they know these things. But when it comes to their blood, their own family, these are things that they cannot say a no to. But the moment you both have an understanding, or you make him understand, okay, I also love your family. It's not as though I'm telling you to back away from your family, but we can do this better because we have other issues at hand. And if we do not solve it this way, or if we
Shoulder.
don't relate with our in-laws this way, or give them this funds, in this proportion, our children may go hungry. We may suffer. So if these things are being tabled in a more a more simpler, a more realistic way, it will help and make them see the picture. They see a they have a clear understanding of what you're trying to do. So I will say a no to in-laws. Please, as do within your capacity, give to whoever you have to give to within your capacity. But like I said, if you already have the financial intelligence, if you are smart when it comes to your finances, you will know the portion of your funds to give out. So with that, everybody will be all right.
Truth of the matter is, in-laws are not the only ones that come around. They're friends.
Yeah.
There's some guys and ladies too. Sometimes, I mean, I would say, no, this person has been with me, and so there are interferences from different things. Sometimes, let's be truthful, it might be church, religious obligations. There are things that cause a lot of conflict when it comes to finances between husband and wife. So I think communication is key. I think having combined goals is key, and objectives. You know what you're doing, so you're not just spending blindly. You're planning in an informed manner because you know what you would like to do. It's been an interesting episode, and I would like for Tony and for Tokumbo to give us the last words, just before we round off. Tony.
Okay, so I'll direct mine to the singles. There's this song that says, I'm a single lady, I'm a single lady. I please enjoy your youthful, your that sing, because when you get marriage is a scam. I used to hear they say it is
Adulting.
true.
It's a
That
scam.
adult thing. So please, yes, you understand that you have to get information, you have to be a bit more cultured, you have to be a bit more prudent and all that. But please enjoy this singleness. So that is what I can tell you.
Thank you. Before you say your last word, I was actually going to ask this question that, a lot of people would tell you, you're a single lady, you don't have a husband, don't buy a house yet, don't buy a car yet, so that when the guy comes, he's not intimidated. Thank you for mentioning that. Please live your life, buy a car if you can, buy a house if you can. When the guy comes, yeah, let him meet you balling already. You guys will be fine. Your last
Yes,
word.
so okay, I'd like to talk about mindsets. Yeah, as my last words. As either in whatever phase, single to married, married getting a baby, even the wealthy mindset, it's a certain mindset that tells you that before now maybe you could do things anyhow. Some things were not resting on you. If I was single, it means I would go to work, do my 30 days, and have all of my spend. Even when I help my siblings or my mom, it's still me. And now I'm moving into a phase where it actually matters. I'm a part of a bigger dynamic. So decide on this mindset that makes you know that okay, now you are responsible. Whatever it is you do
or do not do actually affects the future drastically.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank you. Thank you, ladies. It's been so amazing. We have talked about literacy, financial intelligence, securing your future, and communication in marriage. It's been an interesting episode, and I know that you have learning points. Get books on financial literacy. You can get my book, 40 Further Rules for a Journey to Financial Freedom. I touched a whole lot of topics of financial literacy in it. So till we come again your way sometime soon, enjoy life and keep going. Thank you.